Music come from?
It's Timbo.
Oh, okay.
Timbo Slice. Tim Elliott is his name.
Okay.
He's a good guy. What's your Discord handle? I always forget.
It's Caesar Tiberius, but you can call me Dan.
I got Caesar Tiberius here with me today. Dan and I are good friends. Our sons, they went to school together for a few years, and my son, he just started a new school this year, and so they're not, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
So that's good. And Dan and I have been talking about charts and crypto and all sorts of things for a while. And so what we've done is over the, I don't know, what's it been, a year? Not quite
At
a year.
least.
Has it been a year? A little over a year?
That you've been
Talking
about
charting.
Oh,
and
it's been over a year.
over a year. Okay.
Yeah, over a year that he saved my ass for myself.
so we we've talked charts, and I have been gone for 10 days from all the markets. Even over the weekend, I just maybe have looked at a few things, but I haven't really looked at the charts. So
but we kept the fire going for you.
It's appreciated.
Yeah, you're
it's
welcome.
about time. I've been relying on you guys, so this is great. But I just need to recenter myself, kind of see where things are at, and what the hell's going on, because we had some good movement over the last week or so, and we're just going to start from ground zero and kind of see what we got going on. So
I'm going to ask some basic questions.
No, that's perfect too, because I think a lot of
basic.
people are going to have questions. So I'm going to pull this up on my Discord really quick here on my phone, because I know people will have some. I told them to post it either in the comment section of YouTube or in the podcast section. I guess they might put it in charts too, so you can help me out if they post something on the Discord.
Okay.
Either way, so
I will look.
Looks and Mog are the ones that we have that we're going to go into. I'll probably talk about Gala. I'm going to talk about Miria. I'm going to talk about Playable. And then also, obviously, I'm going to start with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin being, Bitcoin's a big daddy. You got to watch what it's doing.
Okay.
Let me go here. Because I like to see, well, let me back up. So on the weekly, I was playing this. Wow, that's a lot in here.
Jeez.
Let's take all that off. Start from ground zero here.
Pretty,
So
though.
a lot of lines. So a while back, I was looking at the weekly charts and looking at this edge-to-edge cloud trade.
Right.
I got into a 1x long, and basically I sold it when that false pump came out
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Made a little bit of profit, sold it. I didn't get back into it, which is fine.
Okay.
But ultimately this was last week, which was fantastic. So we're looking at this edge-to-edge trade coming to fruition. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Okay, so I think we're going to see a little pullback on Bitcoin. We'll see what that potentially looks like. And this is just me literally looking at the chart for the first time since I've seen it. So my guess is we're going to see a little pullback and then some move, over the next few weeks up into.
Do you think it'll pull back all the way outside the cloud to the baseline?
Oh, no.
About halfway then?
Well, so baseline right now, if we zoom in, baseline's right here.
I'm sorry.
The conversion line.
The conversion line. I was talking about baseline. It wouldn't.
I don't think so. If it goes there, you're out of the trade. The edge to edge is done.
Right.
So, conversion line maybe. I think the conversion line will probably be a spot that it hits, but it won't be right away. I think you see this convergent of a lot of wicks that were pulled in here.
Let's see. Kind of resistance for a while ago.
100%. So that resistance is now support. Okay. And if I do the fixed range volume, I'm assuming we're going to see some decent volume in that area. So so if you look, the volume, the VPVR is right at that level. So my first, and it almost is at the conversion line. So looks really good. I think for me, if I'm going to get back into that long, I would look at, any level in this area here.
Do you think so? I got in at about, I think about 25, anywhere like 24.50. So
Yeah.
right there at the bottom of the cloud, I got in, and I'm still in.
Yeah.
So I would want to ride that out.
So the trade is edge to edge. So you're
Right,
in
right.
it and you just write it off, and it's weekly. So weekly is going to take months to play out, months to years potentially to play out. But realistically, I think we're going to see months for it to play out.
But I'm going to buy up if it starts to trace back to the conversion line. I'm going to buy in a little bit more probably if I'm smart.
If you're smart, yeah. I think
Okay.
that's exactly what I'm going to
Okay.
do. I'm allocated,
Right.
but I'm gonna long it, and I'll do any type of like real pullback into this
Okay.
low 30s is where I'll start to kind of edge myself back into that long.
Okay.
And then my exit is going to be, anywhere in this. Obviously, this top up here at 42, I really like. You'll probably see some resistance in the 36 range, but that's not a complete. Only because this is flat, so you're going to see some resistance in an area. You're going to see some resistance in the 38, and then I think the 42 is kind of that.
At the 38, though, would that be another buying opportunity?
It depends on what you're going to do. Like, it depends on where you're at.
Right.
Are you going to be fully allocated, or are you monthly putting stuff in monthly? Like, how do you want to do that? So I know what you're doing. We've talked about it. You don't have to say anything because this is on air, but I know how you're allocating your stuff. And realistically, I think you're going to have a monthly allocation that you're going to want to put into it that you already had stated. And that's what you're going to wait for. You're going to wait for dips.
Distant.
You're long-term.
Yeah.
And so you're going to look at that any dip that comes into play is when you want to buy.
Right.
Don't buy on the big green dildos. Right?
No, of course not.
That's for you. That's for you, Jesse.
That's what I used to do. That was the old days.
That's the old days.
Buy high, sell low.
Buy high, sell low. I better put this up here too. Who's commenting in here? Make sure I see it.
Okay.
MI's NFT Talk. Who are you talking with today?
Just a guy.
This is Dan, man. This is Dan. Dan the man. Cesar Tiberius in the Discord. Again, long friend of mine. So
I'm a rookie. I wouldn't even call myself a trader. I'm an investor at this point.
You're an investor, but
Yeah,
you're working on your trading aspect. I would say, you're a trader.
Well,
you're
just poor at it.
You're just not that good at it. Sorry, I'm an ass.
We'll say Abe.
So I like to look at this is weekly, obviously. So I like to look at this is still in play. Everything's great. We're bullish. Yay. And on any type of buyback for me, I'm looking at that low 30s. If we get back to that point in time, the baseline it's really flat here at this area too. So that 32,
right?
Just so anywhere in there, really, I would set some buy orders if you're looking to get in, right?
Right.
That's what I'm going to probably set some buy orders after we're done here, just for that long opportunity for myself. I'm fully allocated.
Yeah.
Right?
See, my thing is I want to just keep getting in for a while because I've got, it's filtering in and I want to ride it for a while.
That's great.
Okay.
I think that's smart. Let's go down to the daily, see what we're looking at here. It's full bull on the daily. That looks quite well. Now, again, it lays out perfectly for this to come down and test these baseline conversion lines, right? So they're going to move up over the next couple days.
Right.
This is going to move down, and they're probably going to connect here in this range here. The 31s to 32 range is my guess. This should probably be moved over a little bit more. It'll look more like here. Because then the cloud will be this way and it's going to kind of move itself up that. Right. So what is that? Mid-November?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. You had a big move up, you get a little correction that's going on. This isn't bull run craziness. This is coming out of a bear market,
right?
Bull moves. And so you're not going to see those epic 20% liquidity dumps because there's massive longs all over the place, right? But you're going to see corrections, and they're going to be a little bit more drawn out. They're not going to be in a day. They'll probably be within a week to 2 weeks. That's my guess.
But this latest spike is from all the shorts being sold off because everything kind of bumped.
Potentially.
I was reading an article. It said, I can't remember where it was. It talked about how that fake news
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Had sort of verified that people are still interested in Bitcoin,
100%.
and because of that, people kept,
Yeah.
they took that, they started.
I mean, this
investing.
this is the fake news. This candle right here.
Right.
Right. So
And now we're all the way up there but I had also read that in this period here, where you just above that fake news there were a lot of shorts being settled.
yeah, well, right now that's all you have out there. There's not a lot of new money that's coming in. All this
Right.
stuff right here is, people that are just they've already been to crypto. They're just allocating more to it. Like they've had cash sitting on the sidelines, and using indicators that are telling them when to get in. Right, where the Ichimoku cloud is saying you should be full bull right now. You should be allocating yourself into this. Or I'm assuming we look at moving averages. This is alligator fractal on the weekly. This is one of Neuromancer's favorite ones to do. This, from the way I understand, I haven't used this a lot, is it's opening up and it's going to start to curl back over. This is when you should start to exit your positions to get back in on another kind of rollover and then turnover.
You have
on the
three.
daily?
You have 3 moving averages.
I don't know. This is alligator thing. Let me
Okay.
see. So
I don't know what
normally when I use a moving average, I use,
The
the 50
5200,
or
right?
200. Sometimes I'll do the 100 in there. Right now, this one is, what do I got going on here? Right now I got the 5200, right?
Okay.
So let's do the 10 on here as well,
And
just
it's-
because 10.
And it's EMA, not MA. right?
Correct.
Okay.
I like the EMA. Some people use MA.
Okay.
Depends on who you are and what you're doing. So
Okay.
if I like the 10 as well, you can see how price will
Sorry.
always come back to the 10. We're above it, so you can imagine it's going to come back into the 33, potentially go a little below it, just like you look at in this
Okay.
range here, and then reconnect with these other, the 50 and the 200 as they start to move up, and then move to that next level. So again, we're extended, probably going to get a little bit of a pullback, is my guess. But again, here's the thing. This, and I always say this is funny, it's kind of almost a meme in itself, is this time it's different. This time it's different. No, is
You
it
keep
really?
promising that?
Yeah, well, the only reason I think it may be different
Right.
is because of the ETFs and the amount of money that could potentially come in.
Exactly.
Again, in the beginning, it's going to be the ETFs are going to be all FOMO of, it's not even going to be people allocating to the ETF. It's going to be like, ETF gets approved. Oh, it's not, we saw it's not priced in.
That'll
Right.
be me.
I guarantee it's not just you. Everybody's waiting for that little call. Once it says it's approved, then you're
Right.
going to get a little FOMO that kind of comes in. You're going to get a nice bump.
Right.
The real FOMO, I think, is going to come into play is when you see actual allocations of these, investment firms
Right.
allocating to these ETFs.
Right. And you figure that was probably maybe a year or so after. Well,
No, not even. I think
You
it's
don't
going
think
to,
so?
no, I think
Oh.
they're setting this stuff up. They're going to have, they're going to allocate throughout the year.
okay.
It's not going to be all at one time. That
Okay.
that 1 to 5% that they're going to probably allocate to their ETFs is going to take some time, but you're going to start to see those allocations come to fruition soon after they go live. There'll probably be pretty high volume when we start to look at those ETFs. Be one of the higher volume ETFs that gets launched, is my guess. But your exchanges lack the liquidity needed for actual Bitcoin.
Okay.
So for the amount that's potential that could come through, and that's where the real FOMO comes into play. So it'll be a slow trickle with people adding to it, and as that price starts to go up,
All right.
FOMO starts to increase. The liquidity on exchanges continues to go down, and the price and that liquidity has to meet at some point in time. It's going to be it'll be a weird dynamic how that comes into play. So
I wonder. I always think about who those investors would be. I mean, so if whoever BlackRock. I mean, are they're trying to market this to an institution?
well, let's look at a mutual friend of ours who
Okay.
is an RIA,
Okay.
right? Kind of how you got into the Discord actually was
Okay.
through him.
Okay.
He actually has a new hire
Mm-hmm.
in his office
Mhm.
that is very knowledgeable about crypto.
Okay.
He worked for me.
Right.
Understands crypto and is able to he's going to be more ahead of the game than a lot of other RIAs that are out there,
Right.
in the fact of educating his clients on what it means to have a Bitcoin ETF. That's him, right? Everybody else is going to have their clients come to them and say, "Hey, Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
I want Bitcoin,
Right.
or I want to be in crypto." And he's gonna be like, "Great, I have this awesome product for you. It's called a Bitcoin ETF. It's
And
fantastic.
there you go.
And here, we're going to put you into this Bitcoin ETF."
Right.
They've had GBTC, they've had Riot, they've had all your minor stocks throughout. They've even had Bitcoin ETFs that are leveraged ETFs that have been brought out, but they haven't had a spot ETF.
Right.
So the amount that gets pushed to the spot ETF is going to be a big deal, because that actually takes Bitcoin off of the market. So
it takes it off in what way?
Takes it off because they have to have that. So if you
to
buy a
actually-
Bitcoin, they have to have
buy
that. They
that
have to
Bitcoin.
custody that Bitcoin, which,
Okay.
oh, by the way, goes through, most of them go through Coinbase for the custodial. So
Oh, yay.
Weird.
We need to talk about Coinbase.
I like Coinbase.
I like
obviously,
Coinbase
but
too.
we'll look at Legacy later.
Okay.
So I like Bitcoin. So we're
Yeah.
kind of sitting in a spot that is, I am personally waiting for a little bit of a pullback. I'm fully allocated, but for any kind of leverage long that I'm going to do, and I don't do 100x. I'm doing a 1x, FYI.
For Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'll allocate myself into a total of a 1x. So my
Right.
liquidation price is going to be 17, 15, potentially less than that.
Okay.
It'll be pretty low. So let's move on to ETH real quick, because
ETH has been doing all right too.
well, everything has, right?
Yeah.
It's rising tide lifts all ships.
Sure. Well, not always, but yeah.
A lot of times.
Well, yeah.
Oh, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
I'm going to do the ETH BTC pair, because traditionally ETH is when you come to the fourth quarter, BTC does well.
Right.
And ETH traditionally is the new year, that first quarter of the new year. Like there's this play between the two of those. And if you look at the ETH BTC pair here, let's go on the weekly. It looks like shit. Like this is the Grim Reaper, right? This is I would imagine we see BTC outpace ETH in the this next quarter, and potentially coming into the lows of 0.04. I would say 0.04. You might get lucky and get into the high, 0.03s, like 3.9, 3.8. And then you flip it back around. So we're starting to see the EMAs here. So 5,200, right? There's probably going to be a little bit of a cross or close to it. It's kind of like we got in here. So the play here, versus if you're in ETH or BTC, like you like those as your big
basics.
Your big basics,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what I have.
I would be heavier BTC than I am ETH.
Okay. See,
Looking at this chart here,
I'm about 50-50.
and that's good long term. That's fine. Again, this is trader play, right? So I'm looking at personally going from my BTC holdings to ETH holdings come next quarter. Most likely, I'll be watching this chart. Actually, I'm going to add this to my watch list here, so I can.
I still don't think in terms of this relationship. I still think of it in terms of dollars,
which is great.
My whatever token I'm after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is you can actually trade from ETH to BTC
Right,
on
of
these
course.
exchanges, most of them at least.
Right.
And why not gain an extra? I mean, when you look at this here, since July, right? BTC, if you were holding ETH versus BTC, you were down 34%.
Right.
In terms of that correlation.
Right.
So it was better to hold Bitcoin rather than ETH in that time frame.
Right.
So that's kind of just a short term. When I say short term, the next couple quarters.
Right. And this and I have in July I was in cash. I think.
Were you?
I think so.
Well, I don't know.
I can't remember.
What's cash?
Cash.
What's cash? All right. Well, let's look at some shit coins.
Yes.
I know a lot of people want to look at shit coins too. So, I pretty much covered where we're at here. I'm going to look at, I'll probably go daily with most of these, just because
We got to talk about Solana.
Well, we'll talk Solana
Okay.
for sure because
Okay.
I've allocated. Ooh, I haven't looked at looks in a while. Damn.
Looks is all right.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
So looks rare. Looks rare.
And you doubted me a few months ago.
How did I ever doubt you?
Yeah, I was in with you were doing podcasts and you were looking at I think you guys were looking at looks and you said, "Oh, somebody who's in looks right now, they're sad." And I was, but I'm
Where
not
was
anymore.
this? Like
I was
in here?
Yeah,
In here?
I was at 20 cents and it dropped down to 9. So I was
Did you dollar cost average?
yeah, after
Okay.
that, as it went down here to 3 and 5,
Okay.
I shoveled it in.
So this, like, if we zoom in here, this is a inverse head and shoulders type pattern.
Right.
Consolidation. You had a failed edge to edge trade in here, like this one came to fruition.
Mhm.
I would imagine we're going to see looks kind of walk this out a little bit, or potentially come in and retest these the baseline conversion lines. But you're full bull. I mean, when you look at the, you're above baseline conversion line. You're above the cloud's green, and I'm assuming when I put on which I never do, the lagging span, it's going to be above price.
How come you're
and it's above price?
How come you don't use lagging span?
It just clutters
Really
it up.
good, yeah.
And I can kind of tell when I'm looking at it without having it on there where it's
it is.
at.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, see, I'm underwater still until 10.
well, so in the terms of the Ichimoku cloud, this is the time to start to allocate. This is the bull time. Right. So you can 100% allocate and just sit and wait and let it see where it goes and play it out. I like to find better entries. So with looks, I'm fully allocated to looks, just so everybody knows. I got allocated a while ago. I've talked about it in the Discord.
Right.
But if I were to get in some more, I mean, even on the 4 hour, like 6 cents, maybe 7 cents is probably. I mean, it might do this here where it comes down below the cloud again, just kind of consolidates, and then that'll be your entry point. So I'd kind of wait and see where the consolidation point goes.
I've often tried to, when you've got a situation like this, I've often tried to kind of sort of straddle the baseline, a little above, right on, and a little below, just sort of spread out split it up in thirds, something like that. It usually works out for me.
I like splitting it up, just because it allows you to dollar cost average yourself in, whether it's higher end or lower, but you're not just banking all of it on one spot.
Right.
I've done that before, and then I miss my entry, or it's not the entry you're really looking for.
Tell your 20-cent pain story.
No, I've told that enough. I've told that enough. It was $20, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 20 cents.
No, it was $20.
Okay.
It was the Coinbase one that was hurtful.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, shit. I mean, looks phenomenal. I think the nice thing about looks too is if you've been consolidating down here and accumulating and dollar cost averaging, which is what we talk about all the time, like be able to get yourself in, and dollar cost averages, especially on these long sideways accumulation patterns, you have little to go to get yourself to break even if you were sitting at 20 cents as your entry.
Yeah.
Right. And you start accumulating here. Well, now what are you at? 11 cents?
I'm at 10 cents.
10 cents.
Yeah. So it helped out quite a bit because I probably doubled my position when we were down there at 5 cents, 4 cents. Well, that's really helped out.
I would imagine that you're going to see a lot of volume down here before you do it. And you're probably going to see some volume nodes that are going to, like a big one right in the 13-cent range. So let's just look at this time frame here. This is on the weekly. So your first stop really is 14 cents, right? That 13.7 to 14-cent range.
Mm-hmm.
The very high volume node is 20 cents. That's your buy right here. I'm just kidding.
My original.
That's all you. That's all the volume.
Probably was. Yeah. It probably was.
But again, and that correlates here with the baseline.
Yeah.
This is on weekly, mind you, right now. So this is the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking to trade this, if you're looking to take your money out that you put in, good spots all throughout here, and get yourself that break even, and just let the rest ride.
That's kind of where I was.
Man, when you look at here's your accumulation. node, right? The volume that's down here, people accumulating.
Mhm.
And the best part is you're getting paid. What's the percentage
It's
right
low
now?
right now. It's like 8%. I mean, it was 20, 40% there for a while, but I looked at it yesterday. It was about 8%.
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
Maybe if my computer wants to work for me.
I, would you be interested in taking strategy? Do I get out now or do I wait? Do I wait too long? All that. I mean, how do you do it?
Well, again, it's
How
all
does one?
it's
do
all personal preference. It's
Yeah.
not just one, because one,
Yeah.
I was just talking with Chris this morning
Yeah.
about different ideas of different places that we're in, and one is we're all in different places in life. First
Sure.
off, right? So, how much money do you have invested? Is it long term? Is it short term? What's your what's your overall end goal where you want to be? So that all that is all personal. Where you at, right? So let's see here. Protocol?
Yeah, it's protocol.
Changed it up. I haven't been here in a while. So that has to be all where you're at in life.
Yeah,
So where are we looking at? So 8.38%.
It's all right.
It's
It's a poke in the eye.
it's not zero. How about that?
It's not zero.
It's actually more than having your USDC sitting on Coinbase getting 5%, which isn't bad for USDC.
It's
But
really not. But it moves
if you
on
like
after
looks,
that. Yeah.
you might as well be putting it into the compounder and earn more looks. I mean, that's what I'm currently doing. So
yeah, that's what I'm doing too.
So take that into consideration. Take
Yeah.
you, who you are, what you're doing with your life, and what your end goals are, and then you have to decide. Are you a trader or are you an investor? Right. So as an investor, that's a big decision that's there. What are you investing for? Again, where, when, why, how?
Sorry, man.
No, you're good. And then if you're a trader, again, what are you a long-term trader, a short-term trader? Are you a day trader? What's going on there? So
Yeah.
you can narrow it down to some simplicities with that and implement it. Again, the same way I enter trades, I try to exit trades as
Right.
well. So let's take my personal position where I'm at right now. I'm fully allocated into crypto, right? And my trading is, and that's long term. Like I'm looking at that as, hey, I'm allocated for the next bull run, right? Waiting for that to happen. 12 months, 24 months, somewhere in between, most likely.
Mhm.
I will trade in between that, and I will use leverage to trade that.
Okay.
Not to exceed, depending on where we're at, 2x leverage. It's
Okay.
kind of that's my rule of thumb for me personally.
Okay.
So if we look at the same way I enter, like if I were to say I was down here dollar cost averaging,
Mhm.
I want to also have points in time where I want to exit. Let's say this was the long itself. I would want to set 3 potential exit points. And I would probably set, the first one right in the bottom range of here. So this 1.3 or 13-cent range.
Okay.
And then I would set the next one at the bottom of this range, sitting at 19 cents. And then the potential at the higher end here going at like 23 cents.
Okay.
Just basically looking at, I would set 3 points in time for an exit for that trade to be done. If we went back to Bitcoin, right, we had before, it's the same thing because that's the trade, right? My trade is the weekly on the Ichimoku. I don't have that one on this one, so I got to go here.
So you've still got what your long-term allocation, and then you're basically, so in that other trade you're borrowing basically to do that trade. Okay.
And I'm borrowing to trade it, and my exit's going to be, and so here I will probably exit in 3 scenarios as well, right? I would if I was allocated on the long, which I'm not yet. Again, I got to get back into it.
Okay.
So 36, 38, 42.
Okay.
So I see some resistant points and I want to grab those. Now, what I might do, like I did here, I exited in this area, 30-ish. The leverage, I exited in just above the 30 range, right? I will probably look at getting back in on a dip into the 31 range, and then again take some profits in 36 unless it starts to dip a little bit more before then. 38, 42.
So when you're taking profits, I'm thinking about that. I mean, are you, like in some of them, of course, if you're doubling your money, take half off the table, and now it's house money. But
Mhm.
if it's something less than that, how are you doing it? Are you taking, so if it goes up from $1 to $100, do you take out, you just take out that $99 profit and it's keep playing that dollar, or what, how would you do it? How would,
Well, that's a good transition there, Dan. It's almost like we scripted this,
oh,
which we
yes.
didn't, which is
Why?
kind of funny. But we had another person ask about Mog. Well,
Yeah,
Mog is that perfect example because
Exactly.
that's what I did. So Mog is a shit coin and has no real utility and is
but it's going to change the world.
completely worthless. Honestly, it's a meme coin. All meme coins are worthless in the sense of like they don't do damn thing except, take money away from people or give money to people. Like there's some morality to it that almost makes it so I kind of don't want to trade it realistically because again, it's just giving money and taking money. There's no real thing there. And people get excited and they're like, oh, I want to get in this thing. So Mog is one of those meme coins. I guess like Obama's cousin or brother or something was tweeting
Yeah, I
about
didn't
it
hear
when I was
about that.
gone. I don't know. But I did the same thing with Mog. Back here, got into Mog.
I did it because you did it.
A lot of people did, which is fine. You make your own choices in life. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. And then I sold. It was more in this range when I sold, like 200%. But I sold half of my Mog because I made some money on it, and then the rest is like house money. I bought some more in this range because we've got the football deal going on, and I was like, hey, what a great time to buy more Mog. And so I bought some more Mog, and it's gone up again. I probably should sell half of that as well because we're still sitting in another 200% profit here. So, but I sold half of my Mog. Some people will just take their initial investment out and say, hey, there's my initial investment. The rest is just free money. Let it ride, see where it goes, gamble it away.
Right.
Totally. Do it. Yeah. If it goes to zero, you didn't lose anything.
Right.
And if it goes up a little bit, you have that extra money that's there. So,
Right.
but at a point in time, you're going to have to decide when you want to get out as well. It's always the hard part. That's the hardest part for me too, is always when do I exit a trade? Or when, and this will be the bull market, I'm fully allocated. When do I take those allocations and put those into actual US dollars? And then potentially other investments, real estate, other businesses, whatnot.
Right.
So, so with Mog, I'm just letting things run. Mog looks good. This is the daily. You see the daily cloud here, but you don't see the cloud yet because there hasn't been enough data to give it a cloud. But what you do see is you see the baseline and conversion line crossing here, and as it's above baseline and conversion line, I would imagine that the lagging span, it is above price. Exactly. So you're 3 out of 4 without seeing the cloud.
Right. If you had a flip, you'd be
most likely, if you see if the cloud was actually here, you're going to see the cloud is going to be green. The cloud is also going to be bullish. It's probably going to be above the cloud on this short time frame. So for me, Mog looks good, tradable. Like, here we go. And I mean, let's do some fun. This is the fun math, right? This is math. This is the fun trade. So if you go and you give yourself some fib levels to shoot for potential exit points, right? You're 127 from current price. It has to get past all-time high first off, but all-time high is 76% away, but then you're going to, and it's another 250% to the 127. Most likely you get the 168. That's a 700%, 620%. These meme coins are really dumb in the fact that they go thousands of percentage, like if they start to really run, and
that's kind of what I'm banking on.
I
took out a second mortgage on this.
Good job. Good job. Okay, so you took my advice. Good job.
I did. Thanks.
If you're not mortgaging your house, are you really doing anything?
You're not committed.
That's a joke, people.
Yeah,
if you mortgage your house, you're an idiot.
No, I use my lunch money.
Yes.
For crypto. Yeah.
I use my lunch money for crypto. That's why you're so skinny.
Yeah.
Man, is that the diet plan?
That is my secret. Yes.
Shit,
yeah.
I need to get in on that.
No, man, that was I learned that first year when I was watching it leak out. I'm like, I can't do that. I got to actually pay attention here.
So market cap is 22 million. When we first started talking about it, it was in the 5 million range. Remember hovering around 11 million, so it's double the market cap. It's the max supply is the real reason why this is a really good coin to get into. It is 420. Is that trillion? Millions, billions, trillions. 420 trillion, 69 billion. So obviously, they've thought this through and have a really good plan. So mog it up, people. Just
There you
kidding.
go.
Like, make your own choices. Again, none of this is financial advice. I know I have a little ticker on here somewhere.
there's
I probably
really
should have
not.
put that in here somewhere, right? Like, hold on.
Definitely don't take any from me.
This is why I need. This is why Blake needs to be on here so he can keep us on track. Like the banner says.
Yeah.
This is not financial advice.
No,
it
it's
should just be
not.
running the entire time.
Yeah. Well, it is. Isn't it?
It is now.
Oh, okay. You just turned it on.
I just turned it on.
Oh. See, I tune in every week to get. I call my guy and I'm like, hey, take all my money and put it into Mog.
Yeah.
please."
Yeah, I think there's an ETF for Mog coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah,
And also network spirituality.
I don't think I put that one out to anybody but you.
Yeah.
You just released the
Oh.
secret sauce.
I did, man. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's out there.
That's
now.
okay.
It's okay.
It was another shitcoin that I got into, and I think you and I talked about, but it's even shittier than Mog. Just FYI. So I
Really?
had a hard time really telling anybody else about it.
Oh,
So
it's funny. I think it's worth my bag is worth $9.
I don't know what mine is. I'd have to look at some
when
point
I
in time.
bought it, it wasn't even registering a value. And I was looking at a trading view, and there's warnings. Don't buy this. Basically, we don't know what this is. Are you looking at it?
No, I'm looking at something else that's making me laugh. So,
Oh.
well, let's see. Let's move on to some other.
We want to talk about Solana.
Yeah.
Actually looked
What?
pretty
How much
good.
time we have? 36. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We definitely want to do Sol.
because I'm pretty excited about that. Because if you look at the weekly on Solana, it's just starting to form a cloud I think it's about 500% edge to edge if you did it
Are you on the weekly or the daily?
on the weekly. If I'm remembering right. It's huge.
Come on.
See, look at that thing.
Oh yeah. I should probably set Sol USD on a different exchange. Get a little more time frame.
I'm kind of locked to Coinbase when I can because that's where I do all my trading.
Yeah, but I
Right,
mean, just forgetting the charts itself, so
Yeah,
you get a little bit more here. So yeah, weekly on Sol.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but you're not on the edge to edge trade yet.
Not yet, but it's gonna. It promised me.
Well, I think what is actually pretty interesting to look at here is where does this go from here? Like, I think you got some heavy resistance in that 43 range.
Right.
You're going to see some heavy resistance in that range, and then it'll probably walk this down. Right. And then you get a re-entry in this support zone that was reclaimed, turns into support. You'll probably hit some conversion lines, some base lines, all in this area here around that $30 range, maybe up to 32, depending on where it goes. And then that's your edge to edge trade. That'd be a fantastic edge to edge trade on Sol. 350%.
That is good. Yeah. See, I was in around. I think my average cost is in the 21 range, and the way I was reading it is if it does walk the bottom of the cloud, it's like first quarter next year. Second quarter, it might be ready to go.
I 100% think so as well. I think your little alt rally flows back into the Bitcoin starts to dump. They kind of dump a little bit. Bitcoin rips up again towards the end of the year, and then you start to see that rally come back into play. ETH, it does its thing. It starts to take some shares back of Bitcoin, and yeah, I think we really can see that. I think 2024 is going to be a good year, a really good year. And again, you're going to see that summertime, May, June, July, August, September is going to really slow it down. It's going to be kind of, sideways action, maybe some downward. That fourth quarter again is going to come into play, going to get really hot and heavy. And then 2025, that first quarter, quarter and a half is going to be boom.
Once we settled who the next president's going to be, nobody worries about that.
Exactly. Right. So the presidential election is always volatile for all markets.
Right.
But yeah, I think we're in a good spot, man. Sol looks good. We should talk about Gala. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Gala had a little run too. We'll get into both. So let's
Okay.
go Gala first. So
Okay.
Gala, I'm going to put on the daily just because there's the time frame itself. So Gala, at
Wow.
resistance, at the top of the cloud. It's above. You've got 2 of the 4 here on the Ichimoku cloud. You're looking at your baseline conversion line. It's
Really?
they haven't crossed yet,
Oh, they haven't.
or they're right on top of each other.
Oh,
They're right in
are.
this. So technically there's a cross.
Yeah.
So there's your 1, your 2. Once this turns green and once price gets above, then you're in the bull, right? The problem with Gala is they have a lot of external pressure.
Mhm.
Is sell pressure from Gala itself, from other whales that are out there, whether it's Wright Thurston or whoever is
Okay.
selling. So there's a lot of sell pressure, not quite a lot of buy pressure. So I would be very wary of this technically, just because of other external factors.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't bought any more Gala. I've sold some of my node distributions, but again, it's just you got to wait and see. They still have lawsuits going on internally and stuff. So
I had one sort of general chart question, just tool question.
yeah,
So you usually use the visible range,
I do like the
right?
visible range. Yeah,
But what about if you just the overall trading volume that's usually kind of at the bottom there? Oftentimes when I listen to you talk about it, you talk about good volumes and bad volumes and what's a lot and what's a little. And how do you, I mean, on some of these coins, with Bitcoin, it's been around for long enough, you probably know, but on some of these other coins, how do you know what a high volume is? I mean,
comparative, compare it to everything else.
Okay.
So that's really what I use it for. Is you can see a lower volume time frame. So when you look at from, you can also see it decreasing.
Right.
So,
I see that. But sometimes you see, if you go into these coins that, like Looks, for example, or even Mog, which would be a perfect example since it's brand new.
Well, let's look at Looks first. So
you see, for a long time there, it's just, well, I guess that's where high volume is. Okay.
So you see your high volume,
Yes.
right? So for me, what I would be looking for is this another increase, kind of as it starts to flow like this compared to what you see in here. Now, if I take this off the table, you see again low volume on Looks,
but the price is going up.
That's a good thing. And the fact that the volume's so low, price is still going up. The moment you start to see price increase and you get these bumps and you get more of a gradual increase upwards, you're going to see some great price movement. So that's fantastic. This is all sell. You had some buy pumps in here, but overall, this volume here, it's sell volume. But why wouldn't it be? They didn't have any utility with Looks at all, outside of the compounder and that kind of stuff. But again, it's all out there for it to be. Now they're starting to implement more utility with Looks, right? They have some of their gambling stuff that they have going on with their site, the YOLO, that kind of stuff. So there is utility that's coming to it, and they have a whole lot more planned. Out of the people in their building, they're building on their platform, right? So the idea that Looks and the utility of it just keeps coming with more and more, which is great. Right. So you think of it like a game. In a game itself, like if you get gems, you got to spend those gems somewhere, and if you don't have that, let's look at Townstar a long time ago. Townstar is it had 0, places for Town coin to be put into. So there was no utility for it. And so everybody that earned Town, they just dumped it, and it looked just like Looks that's here. So now that they're implementing some, sinks per se or utility for it, people want to have it. People want to own it. People want to use it. And so the more they do that, the less there is going to be on the market to dump.
Right.
And the more people, and so your liquidity on that external market of dumping, there's going to be less people for that. And so the people that want to go and buy it, your price is going to go up a little bit more. So that's the idea with what Looks is doing there. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. I like their stuff. I'm hoping there's going to be a flippening of NFT usage. When you see Blur, you see Looks, you see a lot of these other DEX type NFT marketplaces
Mhm.
and not just OpenSea. So OpenSea is still big dog. It's going to be the big dog for a long time,
Right.
until we start to see that next phase come through.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's look at Miria. I know a lot of people
yeah.
talked about Miria. Miria looks
It's done pretty well.
awesome.
lately. Yeah.
That's quite the candle it had last week. Whew.
Yeah. See, and I just got in that just before this happened.
Well, there's a lot. I got a lot of lines on here. Again, I'm going to take these lines off.
Jeez.
But when I was looking at it, I was looking at this consolidation down here. Again, too many lines. Let's just take the Ichimoku off right now and the volume off. Nice clean chart.
Okay.
I mean, this just solid platform here. Like one thing I am going to put on here is going to be the VPVR or fixed range.
See, I use fixed.
Fixed range volume profile.
Yeah.
So the highest volume is in this range here. So meaning buy to sell. It looks like a little more sell in this range, but it's usually close to 50-50 regardless how you look at it when you're getting these long range ones on there. So that's this is your spot of like, oh shit, resist or support, right? And really you have more volume all the way up into this point in time than anything that's above it. So this here for me looks fantastic at the 2.2 cent of a cent, 2/10 of a cent range. This is great. I think we're going to see some pullback, much like everything else. It's probably going to follow a little bit.
The 2 cents.
Nah, I don't think it goes that far. I think you can probably say, it's going to get some legs is my guess.
Okay.
My first spot, if I'm looking to get in, I would probably allocate some in the 3 cent or the 0.3 of a cent range.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big gap here. Yeah. So if you do lose that, then yeah, you're 100% going to see this 2 cent or 0.2 of a cent range, up to 2.4, it looks like. But that's a big gap. There's like zero volume here. So if it does not hold up here, this will probably get filled. And you'll see a lot of volume in that range, filling it up. So it'll probably stop and consolidate and give you time to kind of accumulate in this range before it starts to come back up again. Okay. But overall, this looks great for where we're moving forward in terms of Miria. Now, Miria itself, like I haven't even looked at their ecosystem. They annoy the shit out of me with their communication. It's an enigma when you look at what they're doing. Right. They've copied Gala with what they're doing. What are they doing since then? I don't even know if they have earnings with their games now. So they have a couple games that are out that are playable. They have some NFTs that are happening, but it's just all very quiet. Not a lot happening. Could be good. Could be bad. I just haven't dove into it. I just kind of got tired of their shenanigans. So I kind of stepped away. I do own nodes, so I'm earning with their nodes. Ran through Nerd Node. And then
that's right.
There's my Nerd Node. No, it's up there.
Tell me about Nerd Node.
It's a bunch of nerds that run nodes. And then I bought some too back in this range as we started to consolidate. I think probably August, September timeframe. I was allocating some money to it. So
yeah, see, I got all anxious when it was around 5 cents.
I told you not.
I know, and I didn't. I listened to you because I was like a FOMO my butt off. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it, and I just put it aside and I waited. Sorry, and then about 2 weeks ago, I started looking at it again, and there it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, the example was this is with Gala when they first launched, right? They essentially launched their token they had zero utility with their token either, right? And so all these node owners had tokens that they could then now sell. There's a lot of sell pressure that came on, and it went from whatever, I can't remember what it launched at, 1 cent maybe. Maybe more.
5. It seemed like
Gala.
No, not Gala.
Gala.
I thought you were talking Miria.
No. I was talking about Gala, and whatever it did, it dropped precipitously because there was nothing that was useful for. And then you had enough people that sold that were just like, okay, they're done selling, and you had consolidation. Same thing happens with Miria, right? It launches, you get a bunch of people that sell, and then it consolidates, right? They're still selling, but some people are buying. Enough buyers came into play,
right?
And there was a low enough liquidity that now we're starting to push back up,
right?
And then you start to get the idea. The interesting part will be, because they're selling nodes, and I don't know what their nodes are for sale right now. I don't know if you checked recently.
I haven't. The last time I saw her, they were like $5,000 a node.
So the thing we talked about was just wait until you see consolidation, then buy, however much you want to allocate towards a node,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you wanted to own a Myria node,
Mm-hmm.
and then wait for it to double or triple, take that money out, buy the node. Now you still have the token and you have the node. Basically, the node was free.
Right.
And do that. So many people did the same thing with Gala, right? They bought a bunch of it at 0.002 cents, was 2/100ths of a cent, 1/100ths of a cent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as that thing started to increase and they started to sell their nodes in Gala, people were like, well, I made this. Like literally, I have free Gala here because, here we go. Like put it out there. That's why they were able to sell so many at such a high price,
Right.
comparatively. It wasn't people taking fresh USD, buying $5 million worth of nodes.
Cashing out their 401ks and like I was doing.
Yeah, obviously. So
I didn't do any of that.
No. Let's see.
Did we talk about Solana? No,
we talked about Solana.
Want to look at Coinbase?
Yeah, let's look at Coinbase real quick, and then I think we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Make sure there's no other questions or comments from anybody. Nope. Easy peasy.
I didn't see any.
All right.
My
so
brother was calling. Sorry.
Got to do one more.
Dude, I'm being famous. Yeah, Myria's up 20%.
I know Myria's crushing,
like
man.
Since we've been talking in the last hour, 20%.
20%. What? No.
That's what I get. It's it's
last hour. Now it actually looks like it does want to kind of pump a little bit. Now, if I go down to the hourly, kind of a little bit. Maybe one last gasp. See what happens. If that happens, I might sell some actually, and then buy back in.
That's what I'm waiting for. Is do a little bit of a retrace, and then pick up some more.
Let's go to
Coinbase.
Yeah, we'll go to Coinbase. Look at Coinbase, and then we will end this cast. Give me a good feel for where we're at and what I need to do over the next couple of weeks. So
okay.
Why is this so slow? Why'd you make my computer so slow?
I'm sorry.
Every week.
It's my radiation. If I remember right, the weekly cloud looks like it's about to enter. The price is about to enter the weekly cloud.
Well, let us take a look. So the interesting part, do you use crypto cloud or do you use traditional cloud?
Well, I have
for
it
Coinbase
set up for a crypto cloud because this is a 24-hour trading. I mean, it's 24-hour, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's still legacy. It still is more towards the weekly.
Okay.
It's off on weekends. People don't really trade it on weekends. Even the volume after hours is super low, so it's not a lot.
So I should be changing, really.
I would.
Okay. Then forget what I said about the cloud.
Well, I mean, the cloud. We'll look at both. Actually, Let's do this. I think I have both on here. We'll double cloud it up so you can kind of see it.
Okay.
We'll do one at a time though, and let me take all these freaking lines off again.
There's a lot there.
I know. I always got to. I just as I start to trade and move through stuff, I get a bunch of lines, and then it's time to reset. So when we talked about this last time, a long time ago, Coin, I liked it because you were putting in this inverse head and shoulders down here. So your shoulder, head, shoulder. I mean, it looked fantastic. And essentially, I didn't even look at the cloud to be honest with you, but it lined up almost perfect with this edge to edge trade, which the edge to edge trade didn't come to fruition up here, but it did come to fruition down here. So your entry to exit wasn't much of a profit, but now we're looking at this transition from, we got a green cloud. We're not above the cloud yet, but we're getting close. And
this is the crypto cloud. The crypto settings.
No, this is the legacy
settings.
We'll go to crypto in a second.
Okay.
Legacy wise, you're 2 out of 4. Come on. Yeah. So lagging span still above price. You're green.
Yep.
And your baseline is below the conversion line. Conversion line is above that. So what we want to see is this move above the baseline conversion line and above, essentially what it'll be is above the cloud. So you're going to be
100% in.
100% full go on legacy.
Right.
Right. So legacy would say full go. Let's see what the old crypto cloud looks like.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, see, it's not quite in there yet. It's a few weeks out.
Yeah, you have not enough data for the crypto cloud, but you can see this is so I have it highlighted, which is interesting on this one. So you can see where the cloud actually is.
Right.
So this whole way down. And this is where it's red. It's red as can be, but we got a nice edge to edge come into play.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice edge to edge. So, in this range here is most likely what you'll see it'll do. See it'll come into play. That's 150% over the next, I don't know, probably middle of next year would be my guess.
See, that's where
End of first quarter next year.
this will be right. But so the first time I got it, it was there. I was there at the top end of the cloud, and then I bought it months ago at 60. So I brought my average all the way down to about 100.
Nice.
And so, I get up there and I'm fine.
Yeah, I like Coinbase long term though too. Like if the ETFs go through,
Which they will.
most likely they will.
Yeah.
The majority of them, I think all of them actually have Coinbase custody as their holdings. So you're going to have that. You have Base, their own internal token or their layer. Is it?
It doesn't give a token. They use
No, sorry, it's layer 2, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, their own layer 2 that they put out. I think SeedStarter is actually going to utilize them for their token.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Exclusively?
Well, to release they were going to do it on XRPL, I believe, and then they decided to go to Base, which I think is great for both marketing purposes, advertising purposes. I mean, yeah, I think we need to support Coinbase more. They're pushing a lot for, helping regulation within the crypto world. Telling the SEC to go fuck themselves. Like I like that. I mean, look, SEC has their play, but they just seem very corrupt in what they're doing.
Right.
Unfortunately. So let's keep them accountable. And Coinbase seems to be doing somewhat of that. Now I always keep them at arm's length away. They're still a centralized exchange. I don't like holding my crypto on there. If I don't have to. But to each their own.
Right.
They are probably responsible for bringing in more to the crypto space than any other exchange that's out there. Binance probably. I mean, Binance obviously they've done a shit ton.
But it feels like, guys like me, it was almost like PayPal.
Well, let's say US wise for sure. Coinbase
definitely going to do that.
Yeah, but no, I like it, man. It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. We almost been an hour. It's a
Okay.
lot more than I thought we were gonna do.
Okay.
So, but it's fine. There's a lot to talk about, and it was fun talking to you.
Thanks.
How we go over it. So,
Surprise.
well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna end this here. Hope you guys have a good week, and if you have questions, just throw it on the Discord, and maybe we'll do a follow up next week. Be fun.
Awesome. All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye. When you look at it, what